Okay, so today we're going to focus on pelvic stability and our deep abdominals. Okay, so we're going to bring it back to basics a little bit, but that doesn't mean this is just for beginners. It's important that we revisit this regularly. This little series is good for a warm-up, pre-workout, just to get everything fired up and get you thinking about your control and what muscles you're using. So in terms of kit today, I want you to ideally have a Pilates ball or a yoga block if you don't have a Pilates ball, or a cushion, because we're going to need it to squeeze in between our legs. And then I'd also get a small weight, and that might even just be a tin of beans or a water bottle, or a 1.5, 2 kg weight. And we're going to start, this is section 1, and we're going to go on to section 2 in the next video. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to get you to come down onto your back for me. So just find a comfortable position, laying on your back in roughly what we call the neutral in Pilates. So you just don't want to be too flat and tip back or too arched. So if you were to put the heels of the hands on the bony bits of the front of the pelvis, thumbs to belly button, 4 fingers to pubic bone, which makes a diamond, you want that to be relatively flat. You don't want 4 fingers to be tipping up all your thumbs. So once you're resting there, and obviously if you're not comfortable in that position, you can come out of it slightly, but try and aim for that if we can. We're going to start just working on pelvic stability and using our deep abdominals and our deeper postural muscle system to control these movements rather than gripping through our bigger abs. So we're going to start with what we call a hip twist. So pelvis stays nice and level and controlled, and you can have your hands on there if you want to just feel what's going on. We're going to take one knee and just roll the knee out to the side as we inhale, and then exhale, close it back to the center, and then change over to the other side. Now what I want you to make sure is that the pelvis isn't tipping one side to the other. So as the knee opens, you're just really moving through the hip. You're not tipping. If your pelvis was on a set of weighing scales, it wouldn't be tipping one side to the other. I want you to think of your breath. Inhale as you open, exhale as you close. Think of that inner thigh drawing in, and you can even cue a pelvic floor lift here, or a deep tummy, zipping tailbone to belly button as you close that leg in. And then you just want to check in with your big tummy muscles, okay? So this should feel easy. This isn't challenging. And then what that means is we shouldn't feel like our big abs, our six-pack, are having to work for us here, okay? We're just keeping those nice and relaxed, they're nice and soft, and you're using that deeper control. Keep it going. Inhale, open, exhale, close. 2 more. Relax the shoulders, soft ribs. Okay, then from there we're going to take it up into a single tabletop position. So we're going to exhale as we lift one leg up into a scissors, inhale, lower down, and we're going to march one side to the other. Now again, same principle applies. Pelvis isn't tipping or rocking forward and back. We shouldn't feel like these big tummy muscles are having to grip for us. We're just using the stability one side of the pelvis to the other. So we're stabilizing down through one foot and the back of the pelvis as we float the other leg up as you exhale. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. And if you, again, want to think about that connection, maybe cue that deep tummy pelvic floor as you lift that leg, then do so if you don't feel it's automatic. Keep it going. Again, should feel really easy. 4 more. Okay, now bring your right leg into a tabletop. So we're going to go into a hip twist here in a tabletop position. So you're going to inhale, take the right knee and foot, the whole leg is going to rotate out to the side of the hip, and then exhale, close it back in. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. So just like we did in that first exercise, but this time our leg is in a open chain position in our tabletop, so it's more challenging. So if this is too much and you start to feel everything wobbling around or your tummy gripping, just do back down, go onto the mat and just do a hip twist, the first level on that right side. So work at what feels good and then build up to the more challenging levels. Pelvis controlled, inner thigh working. Exhale, closing the pelvic outlet as you draw that leg in. The left knee stays dead still. It doesn't float around. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Control it down. Let's change over to the other side. So left leg in tabletop, that right angle hip and knee. Make sure the knee's not pulling away from the hip. You want it directly over so you're not overworking into the hip and the hip flexor. Stabilizing through the right side. Maybe keep your foot down and go to the easier level if you start to feel everything gripping. There's definitely more activity that will be happening in this level, but we should still feel it's pretty easy. Using our breath, inhale, open, exhale, close. Think of that inner thigh working for us as we pull that leg back in. Three more. 2. Last one, and release. Okay, we're going to take a ball between our knees now and straighten our legs out. So with this position, just make sure you're not overarching away from the mat, soften through the ribs, and if you feel you need any support under the head, then do so. So I'm going to get you to just think about connecting into the ball and just doing a gentle lift up through your pelvic floor, deep tummy. And then we're going to raise the arms overhead as we exhale. Keep the ribs soft, so you don't want everything to pop out here. Inhale, lower down. Keeping that connection into the ball. Now what I want you to visualize and hopefully feel is as you're raising those arms overhead, your kind of core, your deep tummy is connecting all the way up through the front of your abdominals. And again, it's not a brace. It's not coming from your obliques, from the sides of the waist. It's coming centrally. And you can feel there should be a nice tension in the midline of your tummy, so the center line of your tummy. You shouldn't feel like it's all soft and spongy. There shouldn't be a ridge or a dip. So you're just taking those arms to where you feel you can control. Maybe you don't need to cue that deep tummy pelvic floor, and it just naturally switches on as you squeeze the ball and you raise your arms overhead as you exhale. That sense of kind of stability in and around the pelvis, and then that movement of those overhead arms. Feeling, because your deep tummy muscle goes all the way up around above the ribs. It's not just down in your lower belly, it's a sheet across the front of the torso. And release. We're going to bend the knees up. So bend those knees, keep the ball there. Now you can add a weight in, or keep to no weight, whatever feels good. Squeeze into the ball again. Make sure at that point you're not pushing your back into the mat. Try and keep neutral if you can. And then we're going to exhale, take that weight overhead, keep the ribs connected. Feel the extra work now coming through the tummy. But again, you don't want to feel a brace or a grip through your big muscles, particularly through your obliques at your side. You want to feel this central connection up through the middle of your abdominals. Just taking it to where it feels good. It might just feel enough there. You might feel if you go too far, you start to pop and lose that control. And maybe just check as well that you're getting that tension in your midline. Try not to arch the back, keeping everything controlled. Three more. 2. Last one. Great. Okay, we're going to change position now. So I'm going to get you to turn so that you're in 4-point kneeling, so that you're on your hands and your knees. And then we're going to take a ball in between the thighs again. So we've changed position here. Now, first of all, I want you to find that nice position through your back. So you don't want to be tucked under. So if I had a tray of drinks on the back, it would nicely sit on the base of the spine and the pelvis. It wouldn't slide off the back. You want to lift away through the breastbone, nice length through your neck, soft elbows. So just relax and just let the tummy drop. Feel it just drop down, feel it relax, but keep that neutral position. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to start to think of that pelvic floor deep tummy lift, so that zipping tailbone to belly button. Again, not bracing, but just connecting into the ball to help with that. Hold it there, and you should feel the tummy come up and in, and there should be tension, again, in the center of the tummy. Now breathe on top of that. So we want to be able to hold these deep tummy activations whilst breathing on top of it. And we're working at about 40%, 60% of a contraction, not 100%. And then let it go, release out. We go again, breath in, breath out, start to connect. Pelvic floor, deep tummy. Feel that just connect and lift up into the lower belly with that ball squeeze. Hold and breathe. Make sure you're keeping a nice position through your back and not gripping through your obliques. And release. We're going to do one more here when you're ready. Breath in, breath out. Start to do that connection. Find that deep tummy. Again, just sitting at a sort of 40 to 60% activation, because these are postural muscles. That's how they work. They don't work at 100%. We want them to work for us in the background whilst we're doing things day to day. And then release out. Okay, so now we're going to go into some arm reaches. So you want that gentle connection. And then you're going to exhale, reach one arm out. Inhale, release it back down. Exhale, releasing out. Inhale to release down. Now, what I want you to feel here is this transfer of load from one side to the other. So you'll feel as you reach one arm out, it's quite subtle, but there's going to have to be a connection and a control to stop you shifting one side to the other. That's what the ball is there for, and that's what that deep tummy connection, that pelvic floor lift maybe, is connecting and stabilizing the pelvis as you're reaching one side to the other. We want to avoid this kind of gripping and bracing through our obliques. Use your breath, maybe cue it every time, zipping as you reach one arm out, or maybe it's automatic and you can just keep that connection automatically breathing. 4 more. Good, and have a rest. We're going to take the ball out. So we're going to move to pelvic stability in this position with a one leg stretch. So what we want to make sure here is, again, pelvis is neutral. We're not going to swing the pelvis from side to side. I'm going to get you to start by sliding the leg out as you exhale, and then inhale to come back in. Now again, no bracing. Should feel relatively easy. Bit harder for those of you who might be postnatal. You're having to, again, imagine that connection that you had with the ball between your knees. Can you try and find that central connection, even though we're now separating the legs? And then if you've got that control, you can start to take that leg out and away. Exhale as you kick it out. Inhale to come back in. Make sure that tray of drinks isn't sliding off or tipping off your back. Keep the lift through the breastbone, long neck. Use your breath. 4, 3, 2, last one, and have a rest. Great work, guys. That should have really fired up those deep muscles, working on that pelvic stability, and I'll see you again soon.